Today's topic is GIT. We first start stomach. The stomach is divided into four major anatomic regions: cardia, fundus, body, and antrum. The cardia and antrum line mainly by mucin secreting foveolar cells that forms the small glands. The antral glands are similar but also contains endocrine cells such as G cells that release the gastrin to stimulate the luminal acid secretion by parietal cells. So gastrin stimulate the luminal acid secretion by parietal cells within the gastric fundus and body. The body and fundus also contains chief cells that produce and secrete digestive enzyme such as pepsin. Now, in this diagram, we studied the gastritis. Gastritis is a mucosal inflammatory process. What is gastritis? Gastritis is a mucosal inflammatory process. When neutrophils are present, the lesion is referred to as acute gastritis. In this diagram, we see the defense mechanism for the gastric mucosa, normal defense mechanism, or what are the injurious factor for the gastric mucosa. In this diagram, left side, you see the normal damaging factors are gastric acidity and peptic enzymes. Below this, we in the diagram we see the mucus layer, then the mucosa. ये both are protective for the gastric mucosa. So protective factors are surface mucus secretions and bicarbonate secretions into the mucus. Third is the mucosal blood flow. Fourth is the epithelial barrier function. And fifth is the epithelial regenerative capacity and elaboration of prostaglandins. So these are the protective factors. Whenever there is an imbalance between the injurious factor and protective factor, there are mucosal injury or there is a gastritis. Some factors are injurious which causes the gastritis or peptic ulcer, or which are responsible for the peptic ulcer are most important are the H. pylori infection, NSAID tablets, and tobacco, cigarette smoking, alcohol, gastric hyperacidity. Whatever factors causes gastric hyperacidity causes the peptic ulcer, duodenal gastric reflux, and there is a increased damage, or whenever there is a increased damage or impaired defense mechanism or impaired immune mechanism due to the ischemia, shock, NSAID, so there is a gastritis and further disease progresses and convert into the peptic ulcer disease. In the right side diagram, we see the peptic ulcer. In there are the punched out ulcers with clean edges and margins. In the base of ulcer, we see there is a necrotic debris present, and below the necrotic debris, there are non-specific acute inflammatory cells, neutrophils, etc. Below this, the granulation tissue, or in the deeper side, there is a fibrosis. Fibrosis and scar formation occur in the chronic disease, chronic lesion. But in acute lesion, there is the necrotic debris, non-specific acute inflammatory infiltrate, or granulation tissue. So, the gastritis is the mucosal inflammatory process when neutrophils are present in the lesion is referred to as a acute gastritis. When inflammatory cells are rare or absent, we called it gastropathy. What is the pathogenesis of gastritis? There are many mechanisms which protect the gastric mucosa, surface mucous secretions secreted by the surface foveolar cells. They present large food prevent large food particles from directly touching the epithelium. So the surface mucus are protective. Bicarbonate secretion into the mucus, which are also protective. The rich mucosal blood flow or vasculature delivers oxygen and nutrients to the mucosa and wash away the acid. So it is also protective. Epithelial barrier, epithelial regenerative capacity. There is a complete replacement of gastric epithelial cells within 3 to 7 days. So there is a damage and there is a repair again. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs inhibits the cyclooxygenase dependent synthesis of prostaglandins E2 and I2, which stimulates nearly all the defense mechanism. So cyclooxygenase 1 play major role or larger role than the cyclooxygenase 2. Both are isoenzymes gives the mucosal protection. Normally, damaging factors are gastric acidity and peptic enzymes. These factors and protecting factors are whenever in the balance, so there is a no gastric injury. If there are increased damaging factor or impaired defense mechanism, there is mucosal injury. Injurious factor are H. pylori, NSAID, tobacco, alcohol, gastric hyperacidity, duodenal gastric reflux. Now, what is the histology of acute gastritis? The lamina propria shows only moderate edema and slight vascular congestion. The surface epithelium is intact, but foveolar cells hyperplasia, which are characteristic corkscrew profile, and epithelial proliferation are typically present. Neutrophils are not abundant, but a few may be found among the epithelial cells or within the mucosal glands in gastritis. There are few lymphocyte and plasma cells. The presence of neutrophils above the basement membrane in direct contact with the epithelial cells is abnormal in all parts of GI tract and signifies active inflammation. Now we comes on the chronic gastritis. These are chronic gastritis are two types, H. pylori associated or autoimmune gastritis. Location of H. pylori associated gastritis is the antrum, whereas autoimmune is the body of the stomach. Inflammatory infiltrate in H. pylori is neutrophils, subepithelial plasma cells, whereas an autoimmune gastritis, lymphocyte and macrophages. Acid production increased to slightly decreased in H. pylori, whereas in autoimmune always decreased. Gastrin, H. pylori infection normal to decreased, whereas in autoimmune it is increased. Other lesion, hyperplastic or inflammatory polyp may be seen in the H. pylori infection. In autoimmune, neuroendocrine hyperplasia is seen. Serologically, antibodies to H. pylori is found in the H. pylori associated gastritis. In autoimmune, there are antibodies to parietal cell, hydrogen, potassium ATPase and intrinsic factors are also diminished or decreased, or sequelae peptic ulcer, adenocarcinoma or maltoma may occur in H. pylori associated gastritis. Whereas in autoimmune, there are atrophy, there are pernicious anemia due to the deficiency of intrinsic factor. There may be adenocarcinoma, carcinoid tumor. Association. It is H. pylori infection usually have low socio-economical status and poverty, residence in the rural areas. Whereas in autoimmune gastritis, it is associated with the thyroiditis, diabetes mellitus, and Graves' disease. Peptic ulcer, in H. pylori, there are spiral shaped bacilli present in the gastric biopsy. These organisms are concentrated within the superficial mucus. We demonstrate it by a special stain, Warden Starry silver stain. Which stain? Warden Starry silver stain. The course of H. pylori gastritis is result of gastroduodenal mucosal defense, inflammatory responses, and bacterial virulence factors. So, the course of H. pylori gastritis is the combination or result of the gastroduodenal mucosal defense, inflammatory responses, and bacterial virulence factors. Cytotoxin associated gene A, CAG-A, involved in disease progression. Always remember, cytotoxin associated gene A, CAG-A, involved in disease progression. There is increased expression of tumor necrosis factor and interleukin 1 beta, or decreased expression of interleukin 10. Whereas in autoimmune gastritis, it is associated with the parietal cell loss, which are responsible for secretion of gastric acid and intrinsic factor. So there is an absence of acid production, or due to the absence or reduction in acid production, there is a stimulation of gastrin release, resulting in hypergastrinemia and hyperplasia of G cell in autoimmune gastritis. CD4 plus T cells directed against parietal cell and hydrogen potassium ATPase are principal agent of injury in autoimmune gastritis. Now, what is the complication of chronic gastritis or peptic ulcer disease? Peptic ulcer disease associated with H. pylori induced hyperchlorhydric chronic gastritis, present in 85% to 100% of individual with duodenal ulcers and in 65% with gastric ulcers. And what is the pathogenesis of peptic ulcer disease? It results from imbalance between the mucosal defense mechanism and damaging factors that cause chronic gastritis. NSAIDs or cigarette smoking are also causing the peptic ulcer disease. The most common form of peptic ulcer disease occurs within the gastric antrum or duodenum as a result of chronic H. pylori induced antral gastritis plus increased gastric acid secretion plus decreased duodenal bicarbonate secretion. Now, the risk factor for peptic ulcer disease. The most common risk factor is the H. pylori infection. Cigarette use, H. pylori infection, and cigarette smoking have the synergistic effect. chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or drugs like cocaine that reduce the mucosal blood flow, NSAIDs, corticosteroids, alcoholic cirrhosis, primarily the duodenal PUD. Psychological stress can increase the gastric acid secretion. Endocrine cell hyperplasia can stimulate parietal cell growth and gastric acid secretions. Another is the Zollinger-Ellison syndrome, of in which there is a peptic ulcer disease of the stomach, duodenum and jejunum, viral infection like cytomegalovirus, herpes simplex virus. Clinical features. What is the clinical features of the peptic ulcer disease? There is a epigastric burning or aching pain, iron deficiency anemia, hemorrhage or perforation. The pain tends to occur 1 to 3 hours after meal during the day, and it is worse at night, usually between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m., and is relieved by alkali or food. Nausea, vomiting, bloating, belching, and significant weight loss are additional manifestation. Histopathology of the peptic ulcer, most common in the proximal duodenum and the lesser curvature near the interface of the gastric body and antrum. Solitary in more than 80% of patients. The classic peptic ulcer is a round to oval, sharply punched out defect. Mucosal margins may overhang the base slightly. Base of the peptic ulcer is smooth and clean as a result of peptic digestion of exudate. Active ulcer may be lined by a thin layer of fibrinoid debris underlaid by a predominantly neutrophilic inflammatory infiltrate. So what we see in the histopathology of peptic ulcer disease is the fibrinoid debris, fibrinoid necrosis, or beneath the fibrinoid debris are the neutrophilic inflammatory infiltrate. In this diagram, we see the peptic ulcer. There is a mucosal defect with clear edges, and the necrotic ulcer base is formed by the granulation tissue. Now the complication of peptic ulcer disease. First is the bleeding. Most common is the bleeding. It occurs in the 15% to 20% of the patient. Most frequent complication may be life-threatening, accounts for 25% of ulcer deaths. May be the first indication of an ulcer. Second is the perforation, occurs in up to 5% of patients, accounts for 2/3 of ulcer deaths, is rarely first indication of an ulcer. Third is the obstruction. Mostly in chronic ulcers, obstruction may be seen secondary to edema or scarring, occurs in about 2% of patients, most often associated with pyloric channel ulcers, may occur with duodenal ulcers, causes incapacitating crampy abdominal pain, can rarely cause total obstruction and intractable vomiting.